So we've got a massive list to go through because Team of the Season's here, and they've given us more Team of the Seasons than we've seen probably in a few weeks on the very first day. Now, clearly they're going for almost, it seems like quantity over quality with this, but at the same time, some cards do look pretty crazy. So let's just kind of go through what we're looking at. Obviously, we've got D1, which is the female version of Ligue. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics, and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. We've got the Eredivisie and we've also got Ligue 1, standard. But the difference is we've got almost a full team across every single one. So if this was to continue, what we would see, for instance, next week is going to be the Prem. We'll get the Prem. I'm assuming we'd get the Championship. Normally they go hand in hand. And we'd also get the is it the WSL? The Women's Super League or whatever it is, the Barclays Women's League. That's going to all come at once, hence we've got the Eredivisie as well. Again, with a pretty full team from Team of the Seasons with honourable mentions and also highlights, which is kind of their new moments, I'm assuming. I'm here for it. And then obviously we've got Ligue 1 as well. So there is an insane amount of cards going around, which means what are we actually listing them? Because we still have our top guys, we still have the absolute number ones, and the way they've kind of consistently added to this is obviously by adding a quadruple playstyle plus. So obviously we're going to get some that are 94 rated with a triple playstyle plus, which is still better than what we've got previously. And obviously it's 94, so we're in that sort of category where we're at the pretty high end. But then we also have a 95 with a quadruple playstyle plus. So it's going to be very interesting to see where they toe the line here. And if they do upgrade as we go through Team of the Season. Or do we just stay at the same? So Prem, 97, potentially 98 is going to be the best. And the whole way through. Because normally you saw a progression with the Team of the Season rather than necessarily anything going too off the rails. So I can imagine we'll stick with, for instance, if we go to La Liga, Bellingham will have a quadruple, Vinny will have a quadruple, Valverde could have a triple, for instance, and it just throws him off that then in footies or in a shapeshifters next, he will then get the quadruple with an upgrade as well. So it's always interesting. Now obviously in Ligue 1's Team of the Season, Dembele is going to be the big hitter right now. Barcola looks absolutely fantastic, even with just a triple playstyle plus. He's the other side of it, a high rating but a triple playstyle plus, meaning in the future, a footies, he could get a 97 with a quadruple playstyle plus. It's a lot to go with. João Neves looking incredible as always, so I think you kind of just got to see which ones really suit the bill. I think the top three for me are incredible in themselves. Obviously, we know about Dembele. To be honest, I don't think you even need to kind of know what the card actually was. Other than the fact he was going to be a Team of the Season, you would know they were going to put him as the star man. Barcola as well. I am surprised we haven't got no Kvaratskhelia. I personally don't know how well his season as an overall has gone, whether he's coming as an SBC or if he's coming later on at some other point, but I thought he did enough. He might not have. He literally might not have done enough. I only have seen him really in the Champions League and he does pretty well. So let me know if his numbers just didn't really add up. I know Dembele has had an unbelievable season, so hence why he's there. João Neves in this game is just incredible. The agility, the dribbling on him as a centre mid is exquisite. The triple play style, the quadruple play style plus adds to it as well. The incisive tiki-taka mixed in with a great first touch and an intercept. It's a perfect card. It really, really is. And even Barcola, I must admit the quick step finesse is enough for me at this point. Adding then a press proven, a first touch, a low driven if you really want, is going to be fantastic. We also throw in someone like Pacho, who has obviously got himself the quadruple. He's one of the first centre-backs to actually get it. Obviously, it's the first team of the season anyway. Relentless is what it is. Jockey, I'll take. Block, I'll take. And anticipate. Pace, defending, physical. The thing that you've got to kind of not get too overhyped about is the fact that we are going to get cards after cards that are going to be on this level. You got to think, is he going to be, and especially next week we get Prem, Saliba and Virgil are more than likely guaranteed to get in there. They will both have quadruple play style pluses. They both got team of the years. They're going to have quadruple. So already you're throwing him out. Unless you're getting like a Dembele or João Neves that you need to link into the team, he's gone. But also, you need to be realistic. Right now is unbelievable. It's a very, very good card. It throws himself into the top end quite well. But in literally a week's time, is going to be slightly under the rating of what he kind of is now. I personally would go in the very usable. I don't know if I'd even go top meta at this point with him, even with the quadruple, because of the level of centre-backs we've got and the fact he's going to be out of it very quickly. You could also say the same maybe to like a Barcola, if obviously we're going to get Vinny. He's already going to be under Vinny, but I must admit, La Liga is in a full month, as that is the last team of the season week, rather than necessarily the next. Throwing in Vitinha, I think he's just a one under Neves in my opinion, and I'd even go Nuno Mendes. I think Nuno Mendes is an argument to potentially go up one, and that is purely on the fact that left backs, he's one of the better ones. You've got Alfonso with an upgrade would be incredible. Theo Hernandez obviously sitting at number one. Ferland Mendy if he manages to get anything, but I don't know even if he's actually managed to get into team of the season this year. Obviously Nuno Mendes throws himself in, and then the icons. They're going to be the kind of better category. And I must admit, you got the slide tackle, you got the bruiser. The quick step is nice. He's only just got a dream chaser, to be honest, and that dropped down pretty quickly. So for me, I personally wouldn't have him as a top meta, but I would have him as a better left back the more you see him kind of work out with this. Then if we kind of look through a lot of them, you'll find that there is a few that are just standard cards. A lot of them would go into the very usable. Obviously, when it comes to a keeper, you've got himself with the triple play style plus as well. I don't know whether they're going to, well, they will do eventually, but whether they're going to give a keeper a triple goalie play style plus. Obviously, we've got the long ball, we've got footwork, and we've got deflector. It's okay. I mean, I'm okay with a keeper being like that, but I mean, he's not necessarily going to be the one I would change right now for anything. I think I will wait and see potentially Alisson more than likely going in, or somebody along them lines, maybe Martinez, or even throwing in, to be fair, what's his name, the Arsenal goalie. Why can't I not think of his name? Raya. Of course it is. I was thinking that. I just couldn't remember his name at all. I was thinking, what's his face? The Ramsdale for a bit. But in general, you're going to look at one of them keepers, and I'd probably change him to that. Then more than likely back to Courtois if he manages to get into La Liga at some point. Then, throwing down a little bit, have we got any that are not usable in the Liga? And that's the question. Have we got any that are kind of a miss? You'll always have your bog standards, your Zachariah. It's a solid card, like you could definitely get some use out of him. But realistically, when you think of your team right now, I would say most of my players, especially in the midfield, are better than him at this point. Evos are going to be a little bit more tricky because obviously we're not at the 91 rated yet. So that's going to be harder to kind of justify if they should be. But there might be some in some of like maybe the Eredivisie, they might be 90 rated, potentially for an Evo. But I would be looking kind of like at your further down, like Zachariah. I mean, you could definitely get some use out of them. It's going to be a very hard choice to say no. I'd kind of be looking kind of here, really. You look at the stats are nice. They're very good stats, but they're only stats. The playstyle pluses are what's added. Technical, I'm not a fan of. Trivella's nice. Acrobatic, not as much. I've got better wingers. I've got way better wingers. And you've got even better wingers naturally in this team as well. So it would be players like that I would consider on the more lower end, maybe into the miss sort of category. But again, it could be more based around the Eredivisie and maybe the D1 where they've lowered the ratings that little bit more than what we've seen. So I think if I was looking at kind of the rest of them, I think would be going Rabiot, I'd go into more usable category. He's definitely coming in as a more lower budget. I would say the same for Zachariah. I wouldn't necessarily put him crazy. I think he's got potential with the tiki-taka, incisive, and the intercept. If we could see eventually, and we're talking in the future, a potential future Evo into that 94-95 with the quadruple, he's got a shout into there. But the problem is, are you going to evolve if you get to a 92? Somebody that you maybe don't know. It's going to be the big question, really. Jonathan David, rapid with the finesse and a first touch. I don't know if I'd go in very usable by this point. I think usable most definitely, and you could definitely get some use out of him. But you think the Strike Force Evo took a player to a 94. It is going to be under a lot of strikers already. Would then say the same for a lot of the kind of like lower end sort of cards, like a Klaus is going to come in there. Marquinhos is an interesting one as he's on the bottom end, but to be honest, I mean, I would still put him in a very usable category. He's kind of below Pacho in terms of the playstyle pluses, but the playstyle plus he does have, intercept is fantastic, anticipate aerial with the stats that he does have as well, the 90 pace onto him with the defending and physical. I mean, that card has got to be up there with the best of them, to be honest. And to be fair, I didn't even see his price there, 413. It's relatively cheap to say that that's going to go down massively in the next couple of weeks as well, which is always fantastic. We then obviously have Højbjerg kind of go down. Blas, the highlights are nice, but I'm not really seeing too many that I'm like major in love with. Power shot trick. Nah, I mean, you know what? He's going to be the second miss, unfortunately. He's just not with it, in my opinion. Bentaleb, I'd go into more of a usable. And then we do have the striker at a 95 coming in. He obviously is the Norwegian striker at 95 rated with the power shot, first touch and low driven. 5-star, 4-star, coming from a 68 as well, which is fantastic. As I said, before I did recognise a few of his informs. I think we've had that 85 in my team at the moment, or my squad, for a long time coming in. 4-star, 5-star, great pace, shooting, dribbling. I mean, you could definitely get some use out of that. What are we going for? Marksman. Let's have a look. So you get controlled lengthy, which is always nice. How tall is he? 6'2". He's going to marksman 97, 97, 95. I mean, that's pretty good. I suppose you don't need any pace with it, 95. I wouldn't necessarily go top meta. I think you could throw him into that very usable category. And then, to be fair, you could do the same here, which then brings us on to the Eredivisie. We'll do the D1 last, as that definitely has some very good groups. So this is where I'm expecting some 90s in there. Oh, Hato managed to get one. Solid up and coming left back going in. Quick step, long ball pass, and the slide tackle. I mean, it's solid. I mean, you could definitely get some use. I don't know if I'd quite go him to be a crazy card, but definitely some use out of him. We obviously have Hanko, if you can remember him from last year. We have the goalkeeper with the long ball, far throw, and cross claimer, I want to say that final one is. It's a standard goal. He's 6'2", so he's in the remit. I'd go usable at best, really. I don't know if I'd go too much more than that. Obviously, we go for the right back. I just would possibly miss out. We do have Para as well coming in with the finesse, power shot, and aerial. 6'1". It's got these decent stats across the board, but I'm just thinking the amount of strikers that we've got realistically is not going to go there. Probably say the same for the left wing. We've got him in so many packs already. He's just not going to be the one, unfortunately. What have we got for the best then? We've got the 96 Cam, 295, quadruple play stop plus, obviously, in this. Technical power shot, incisive, and relentless. You could get on board with him at least. There's maybe like a little bit of wiggle room with him. Stats-wise, great dribbling. Obviously, passing's up there, shooting. So, it's a standard card. I mean, I don't know if I'd go top. I'd possibly be looking at a very usable. The fact that he's got the quadruple is going to add that extra layer to him. I think if you put him as a triple, he probably would still be like under 100k at this point. So, that's going to be the argument. We got Lang, 96, 94, finesse, first touch, low driven, decent, 95 rated. Obviously, De Jong, a usable striker to say the least. Right hand side, we got Ant-Man, 94, 94, 94. Tiki-taka, finesse, and whipped. It's decent enough. Taylor was the one that I saw. We managed to get him. He was our first Eredivisie. Looks solid as a centre mid. Quick step, low driven, and incisive. A bit of everything in there. I still would question whether you'd want... I mean, you go an anchor on him, actually. It'd be relatively solid. An 88, 94 just needs that little bit more on the defence, and he's absolutely brilliant. So, if I was going for it, I think you've got a lot of usable cards in here, but not necessarily anything too crazy. I would personally go something along this sort of line. Ant-Man would come down one. Would go Hanko one down one. Tillman... I think he was the incisive with the decent passing, and then I would go usable there. That would kind of be my list for the Eredivisie. I think with the kind of the minor league as such, they're always going to be just a beat off. So when you've got the D1 league coming in with some 95s, 97s, unfortunately, Ligue and D1 are going to be the kind of 1 and 2 spots, and then they're going to be third. So they will always be the bottom feeders as such, really, when it comes to team of the seasons, but could be the first to be evoed. That's the big question with it. And whether we see that soon, we will kind of see as we go through the couple of weeks. When we come to players here then, we've got a few big ones. We've obviously got 2.4 mil. We've got 1 million. Obviously, Karchawi or Sakina coming in with a 95. Was surprised that she didn't really feature too heavy on her left back. Obviously, she's got, to be honest, possibly even worse. Yeah, I mean, I get that she didn't really have that many defensive anyway, but having the quick step over whipped pass, say, obviously then keeping relentless and then basically taking the jockey and turning it into technical. I get that obviously she's gone more into a left mid sort of role, but for me, I think they really, really screwed up on that card. Any card that's got a team of the year needs to have the quadruple. Otherwise, you might as well have just kept the team of the year at that point. Then obviously going a bit further down, so that's a bit disappointing for her, to be honest. That will lower her rating. We've got Madri. We've obviously got ourselves the 90. I can never pronounce the name. But we have got the finesse, the press proven, and low driven. It was the 98 pace, because did she have, it was the future star that we managed to get, a left wing or a striker. And most definitely it came in with a little bit of kind of, almost surprised that maybe we could see a team of the season in the future. And to be honest, she didn't disappoint. Very good dribbling, very good shooting, passing's up there, decent amount of physicality. Obviously, it's the aggression that drops it down, and then the pace is there as well. And to be fair, for a striker, 80 defending as well, a kind of full game of everything, really. So you're kind of seeing yourself there, potentially. Now, I think when you look at kind of where you're going with this, I think Horan definitely puts herself into a top category with the aerial, the pinged pass, the incisive, and a finesse. That is a wonderful compensation, kind of like complementary playstyle pluses together. We would have the striker in the very usable. Matteo coming in 848. I like what they've got. Obviously rapid, first touch, press proven, and a low driven. If that was a finesse at the end, I would be all over it. I think that would be one of the better strikers we could see. Same with Chawinga, obviously coming in with some beautiful playstyle pluses, but it's just one of them ones where you're either going full on the attack or you go for like a cam. Incisive on the wing is going to be a very difficult one to get used to. So I would possibly drop her down from that kind of maybe going into a top meta into a very usable. I think you could get a decent amount of use this week, and then we'll see her kind of being taken over pretty quickly. Sakina, though, you know what? I am disappointed. She's very lucky I don't go in the miss. I think you should just go for the team of the year at this point. I think as a left mid, you know what, I am very disappointed in that card. I thought that could be so much better. The playstyle pluses are off. Trying to change mid position. I get that maybe she's played more left mid this season, so it's kind of like it's trying to ramp up that team of the season. But they know what playstyle pluses work for a team of the season. So, or they know what playstyle pluses work for a card. So not even giving her the quadruple, but then almost kind of pocketing her into there, it's not enough in my opinion. They know exactly what they did for that card. So that's going to be a bit further down. We do have Renard. Now, one of my favourites when it comes to a D1 centre-back. She has always been fantastic. Last year, she had one of the best Team of the Year cards. This year, slightly a little bit less. And I mean, she still was fantastic, but a little bit less. Now, adding the quadruple, even it was the pinged pass. Like, obviously, we had the long ball pass, the aerial, and the anticipate. We've lost the aerial, but we've got the anticipate still. A cheeky block, relentless, and pinged pass. You can see that they're not going full all out. That more than likely will be for Virgil and Saliba, and then we close that hole. But in general, solid centre-back. Now, I don't know if I'd quite go into the top meta with her. I would still stick it to a very usable. I think we're trying to reserve that for the best of the best, and I don't know if I'd quite go with her in there. Madri would go into the very usable quite comfortably. Then we do have a kind of alternative left back, to be honest. 63,000, solid enough. Obviously, rapid whipped pass and intercept. Going in for more the attacking role. She's obviously got the 4-star, the plus across the board other than the full spec. I mean, you could definitely get a bit of use. You most definitely could. And we look at kind of the rest of them. I would go more usable just because Nuno Mendes would hold that spot pretty comfortably. I'd say then you'd got a lot of use out of a few of the others. Grace is outrageous for the price that you can get her at. She's coming in at 25,000 coins. A solid centre mid. She was the same last year. Most definitely a crazy, crazy card that you can go with. And I'd say the same for the highlight as well. Most definitely up there. And then really for the rest of them, I'd probably have to give it a little bit of a no. There's not going to be too much real use that you're going to get out. And unfortunately, I think the keeper is coming in at 5'11". I mean, she's taller than most of the female keepers, but I just personally don't like, even if it was a male keeper, I don't like non-tall keepers. It has to be 6'4", 6'5" at a minimum. Anybody under is questionable at times. If they're 6'2", 6'3", 4", maybe get a bit of use, but realistically, it's the Courtois, the Van der Sars, coming in at the 6'5" to 6'7" range that personally is just better in terms of a keeper. Which means then we do have some of the objectives and 2 SBCs. So I think Labordier, actually quite a solid card. He will be fantastic in the future in an Evo. I really think as an 89, that has got an Evo with a quadruple written all over it. Even without it, to be fair. Power shot, finesse, and quick step. Even if you can get him up to a 92, 93, that is going to be a great card. Don't really like the other. I think the other one actually is slightly a bit disappointing, to be honest. I would go into a miss. I mean, it's free, so I would be potentially putting him into an SBC, but Labordier definitely steals the role. We then also have Aronson coming in with a cam, rapid, pinged pass, solid stats, but again, I'd probably miss out. The fact that he's a reward for the champs, don't know if I'd really want that card, to be honest. And then we have the 2 SBCs. We have Due, I want to say he pronounced his name, coming in at 95, with obviously nearly 1 million coins. I think he's a solid card. He's not necessarily my number one shout, but finesse, rapid, first touch, it's a solid build to start with, and then we could see where we can go later on. I don't know if I'd quite go into a top meta. I'd definitely be looking at the very usable at the minimum, and just the fact that he's a very first SBC, possibly worth doing. You have got, 4 weeks to grind him out, so most of team of the season. And then we also have the highlights, oh no, it's the end of era in fact, which do have the icon chemistry style now. So she does get the icon chemistry, so all leagues and nations are on her. So that at least is something. It's a big dub in my opinion. Solid card. I mean, she's got a decent amount of everything. Obviously coming in for the cam roll. Finesse, technical, long ball, decent stats. 178, I'd possibly go, if I'm being realistic, more into a usable category if we're being real with this. So that is going to be the list for today. Let me know down below what you think. I think it's a great start to Team of the Seasons. We are going to obviously continue the reviews throughout the week. Let me know down below who's your best player that you've managed to get. And hopefully Prem come in to knock it out the park. Let me know what you think. Peace.